here. And Nam and Stefan, you stay with us for the next session.
Yes.
Our next category in-store technology is inventory management. Cloud-based IoT platforms provide retailers with real-time visibility across their supply chain from the source through the point of sale. Well, these digital tools are optimizing and automating tasks such as inventory tracking, demand forecasting, and assortment optimization. We're joined for this session again by Nama Zelsman-Dror, Gary Tattersall, Managing Director Europe at RFKeeper, and former Urban International Global Head, Stefan Laban. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Ben. So hi, Stefan again, and hi, Gary. Great seeing you. Let's start with the short statistics. So the average level of inventory accuracy in the States for US retailers is 65%, meaning that more than a third of the time, the average retailer cannot tell where an item is or if they have it in stock. RFID solutions can help solve this problem as well as help increase sales. And in the session, we'll discuss how RFID can boost your inventory management. So Gary, we'll start with a short introduction of your company, RFKeepers.
Thank you very much. I've got a couple of slides to share with everyone, and thank you for allowing me to join your session. As the slide says, my name's Gary Tattersall. I'm the Managing Director for Europe at RFKeeper, having recently joined the company. Prior to that, last year, I was the Director of Asset Protection and Risk Management at Jack Wills, a clothing company. I had a very broad role there, which included heading up a legal team, health and safety, inventory, and an audit function. But more importantly, I was the strategic lead for the global rollout for RFID across the UK, America, and Asia using the RFKeeper platform. As you said, I'm hoping everyone can see my screen okay. I just wanted to touch on a couple of points that kept me awake as a retailer and why I looked for RFID as a solution to improve some of the failings within my organization. And one of the first things that I found out when I was reviewing some of the statistical information that was available to me was that we had extremely poor accuracy, as Naima has just alluded to. In fact, our file accuracy was around 59%, or more importantly, meaning that over 40% of our file, we didn't know where it was. We didn't know where our stock was. It wasn't in the right place at the right time. And that meant that we couldn't maximize our sales. We also had very poor online availability. If we didn't know where our stock was, we had opened our file up to our customers, allowing them to look prior to coming to our store to see if this t-shirt was available for them to purchase. And if we didn't know where it was, a customer would have a wasted journey to our stores, and that would impact on the customer's journey, i.e. they'd have a negative experience of entering a Jack Wills store, or any store, we're talking from an RFKeeper point of view, and potentially that customer would never return, so missed sales. Until we implemented RFID, we had we were unable to use data effectively. And it's something I'm going to come on to in a minute to talk about how RFID can be used to improve your data flow and your customer experience, understanding your customers' behaviors and what the customer wants whilst in your store. So having had terrible file accuracy, I set about trying to find a solution. And this is where I came across RFKeeper. And I'll talk about why I wanted to work with RFKeeper and what were the pros of that organization compared to some of their competitors that I also reviewed. But first of all, I identified what my problem was. We had extremely poor accuracy. We didn't know where our stock was. Having implemented RFID, we were able to move our file accuracy from that 60%, 40% inaccurate, to over 95%, and in some cases even achieving 99% in some of our stores. We were able to move from only stock taking our stores from twice a year to completing stock takes in an hour every week. So that's how we were able to correct our file and make sure that we had the stock in the right place at the right time. We moved from being receipting goods in good faith to using RFID to have 100% shipment validation. So again, just giving us a better understanding of our stock at all times. Our teams were no longer chasing rainbows. We actually knew what our shrink levels were, and that we were able to drive sales by understanding our stock flow. So you might say, so what? You increased your file to over 95%, but what did that do? Well, most importantly, by increasing, or in fact, if I just rewind, moving from a multi-channel retailer to becoming an omni-channel retailer was really, really important on this journey. We were only able to achieve that by implementing RFID. So what that meant was that by increasing our stores transactions and increasing online activity, we were able to increase sales by 4%. So a massive, massive improvement. And the reason that I engaged with RFKeeper was simply because it was easy to integrate. It worked with our systems. We didn't have to change our warehouse management system. We didn't have to change the way we operated as a retailer. And it was about their partnerships, engaging with people like Denso to have state-of-the-art hardware, or engaging with Next Site so that we could have next generation tags. It was about their innovation. So I've got a really short video that I don't intend to play all of it, but I just wanted to show you how we implemented RFID, just to give those that aren't aware of RFID, what it might look like in one of your stores. So as I said, this is the Jack Wills one. So apologies, it will give you an idea of what RFID looks like in a retailer and how they can use it. And the savings that can be attributed through RFID are huge. So huge, huge benefits to a retailer, which I'm sure Stefan will talk about in a minute.
So Gary, if you allow me, we're seeing the video, and Stefan, I want to ask you as a retailer, how do you see RFKeeper solutions? I mean, you're seeing many RFID solutions, and what is the added value you're looking at?
Yeah, so I think, these days, I don't think there's any doubt anymore that RFID drives terrific KPIs. I think RFID is almost table stakes these days, right? And everything Gary just said makes perfect sense. I do think what's important for a retailer, that RFID technology always improves, right? Has been there for almost 10 years. So what is the time when a retailer misses the boat, and when does technology improve, and when is the right time to invest? So I have no doubt about KPIs, but as a retailer, one of my questions for Gary would be, there's RFID with Bluetooth coming now, right? When is the right time, and does your specific technology evolve with the technology that moves on?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a question I asked myself: when's the right time to deploy RFID? And when I set back, when I started my trials 5 years ago, I was very skeptical. I think I was probably one of the last people to adopt and take on an iPhone, because the iPhone was ever evolving. And so I think the first one I got was an iPhone 6. It's a very good question. When do you jump in? And the beauty of the RFKeeper solution is the lack of integration. And so the financial implications on a business are reduced because of how our system integrates with retailers. So when you're buying RFKeeper's solution, you aren't buying an out-of-the-box product. You are buying a solution that is bespoke to each individual retailer. And furthermore, it's the RFKeeper is about going on a journey with the retailer. You're not just buying a solution, you're buying a product that's going to help you transform the way you retail. We don't just want to sell you a solution and then run away. We want to go on that journey with you. We're very, very aware that retailers in the current times, there's many that unfortunately are at breaking point or are going into administration. And what we're seeing are those retailers that don't have online presence. We no longer should be talking about online versus stores, or whether a retailer is multi-channel or whether a retailer is omni-channel. Those work streams need to be spoken about every day. They need to be one. And it's shown in the current environment. If you're not one, you're a failing business.
Yeah, I agree. I think that these days there's only retail, right? There's no more e-com and bricks and mortar and all that. I agree. So, I have a question for you. So in COVID times and times like this, is my assumption right that with people using stores as warehouses and click and collect more important, that you actually have more interest in your product right now?
Absolutely, and this is where we're seeing the demand. And the slide that I'm showing you now is exactly that. It's moving away from retailers using a traditional distribution center and fulfilling e-com orders there and using a store for where a customer walks through the front door. And our solution provides the ability for retailers to use their stores as almost a mini distribution center. By truly knowing what is in that store, they are able to provide a better online presence using the bricks and mortar. So you can have customers walk in and benefit from a click and collect service in the scenario that you're talking about.
Very good.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. So, I mean, we have 4 minutes to go, and I'll be happy to hear from both of you. How do you see the future of RFID? In terms of the retail usage and where it goes.
Stefan, would you like to go first? And then I'll follow up from our business point of view as hear what the retailer has to say.
Yeah, so I mean, as I think you explained this quite well, I think, as times are changing now, I think retailing will change. And I think, it's more and more important for every retailer to exactly know where their stock are. That then changes, how they operate their business model. Suddenly a store becomes a mini warehouse, click and collect, all these things. So I do think, with the unfortunate events right now, RFID actually became more important for any sort of retailer. And hopefully the system can evolve with the demands. But I do think it's mission critical for any retailer right now.
Yeah, I have to agree, and I think it's more than just understanding about where your stock is. It's about engaging with the customer. There's so much data that's available to you using RFID, knowing and understanding your footfall, understanding your customer's journey, understanding why they've taken one shirt into the fitting room 20 times, but no one's ever purchased it. Or when you're in that fitting room, using RFID to link in with digital signage so that you can market other products and use the opportunity to upsell. Using magic mirrors or digital signage on the shop floor to engage with your customers, but when they pick up a trainer off of the shelf, it automatically links to the digital signage and tells them how that product was made. How you can use RFID to show that you are a sustainable company, to show that you're aware of the environment, so that people aren't just buying a product, they're buying into your business, they're buying into your product as a lifestyle choice. And RFID can be used to directly engage with those customers.
Yeah, and Gary, with RFKeeper, from first contact to full implementation, how long does that take?
It's a really good question, and I would say that it depends on the retailer. Because our solution, we're a very, very agile business. Our solution is seamless to integrate. We don't need, it's not an IT hungry solution. And what I mean by that is we can integrate as far as the retailer wants to. Our solution sits over many of the other retailers or many of the retailers' current systems to provide them the information we're talking about. So our solution could be implemented in 8 weeks, dependent on that retailer. We need to understand some of the flows of the business, where's the best place to intercept the stock, where to put the readers. So there are some process backend pieces that need to happen, but it truly is a simple product to implement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And just to clarify, Gary, what is the size of the average retail you guys work with?
That does depend. We've got retailers out there that have got 50 stores, retailers out there that have got 100 stores, and we're currently engaging with a retailer in the moment that's got 1,300 stores. So because the solution is scalable, it's appealing to everybody. So some of our competitors might only look at store or an organization that's got 150 plus stores. we're in a unique position because of the way we're able to implement that. We can service someone that's got 20 stores. We can service somebody that's got 200, 300, 400 stores. The size of the retailer does not matter to us.
Okay, thank you so much, Gary.